The new moon in Capricorn on 18th January at 1952 Universal Time urges us to complete the design and manifestation of our new life plans that we began last year and at the start of 2026. This new moon in the disciplined sign of Capricorn encourages us to focus on long-term goals while proceeding responsibly and in a structured manner. The conjunction of Mercury, Mars, and the Sun-Moon conjunction in Capricorn, also known as a stellium, imparts determination and energy to this period. The Moon, which symbolizes emotional needs, is in conjunction with the Sun in Capricorn, which strives for perfection and mastery. This means that the emotional needs of the Moon in Capricorn align with the practical life goals of the Sun in Capricorn. This constellation forms a strong connection based on clarity and commitment, thus providing security and stability. A metaphor for this constellation is an anchor or a rock in the surf. The stabilizing effect is enhanced by the harmonious sextile aspect formed by the new moon stellium in Capricorn with its own dominator, Saturn. Saturn, together with its own dominator Neptune, is in the sign of Pisces, which means that ultimately Neptune leads the domination chain of the horoscope. Projects currently being realized are characterized by a material foundation symbolized by Saturn, as well as a deeper spiritual or emotional dimension represented by Neptune in Pisces. As the leader of the domination chain, Neptune influences all the planets of the new moon horoscope except for Venus, Pluto, and Uranus. This indicates karmic and very long-term themes and their development. In the personal realm, the sextile with the Saturn-Neptune conjunction in Pisces leads to an increased inner clarity, symbolized by Saturn, which is enabled by a deeper access to the inner truth, represented by Neptune. For example, emotional crises can be practically mastered through conscious decisions. Neptunian visions can be shaped into Saturnian, solid structures. In summary, the constellation offers the chance to bring dreams into a lasting form through discipline, both in personal development and in partnership. Chiron, known in astrology as the planet of the wounded healer, is located in the identity-forming sign of Aries. Chiron in Aries supports inner healing and the strengthening of self-confidence. He stands in square to the new moon stellium with Mercury and Mars in Capricorn, and thus challenges us to confidently stand up for ourselves without losing sight of our grounding and long-term goals. The new moon phase in January 2026 offers us the opportunity to harmonize professional or social ambition with profound emotional healing processes. Injuries due to a lack of self-determination or the feeling of not being heard can be healed by bravely moving forward and strengthening one's own identity. In a mundane context, the challenging configuration with Chiron in Aries represents a tough confrontation between the interests of authoritarian leaders and the global needs for freedom and self-determination. A painful and at times desperate struggle for self-determination to defend personal interests can be driven by this planetary energy. The retrograde Jupiter in Cancer, opposing the new moon, acts like a magnifying glass on the perspectives of all involved, thereby enhancing the perception of their own positions by all parties. Existing conflicts are exacerbated, which may lead to widespread fires. However, Jupiter in Cancer also forms harmonious and thus constructively effective sextile configurations together with the retrograde Uranus in Taurus, the Saturn-Neptune conjunction in Pisces, and the new moon stellium with Mercury and Mars in Capricorn. With this harmonizing energy, new paths to peaceful problem solving can be found, provided that all parties involved are of goodwill, act with discipline, and respect their boundaries. The configuration is expanded with Lilith in Scorpio, which gives an immense depth and intensity to the quality of the time. The most prominent constellation in this new moon horoscope, in my opinion, is the Venus-Pluto conjunction in Aquarius, because Uranus, the ruler of the sign Aquarius, is positioned in the Venus sign Taurus and thus forms a reception with Venus. Therefore, we are dealing here alongside Neptune in Pisces as the leader of a chain of domination, with a second, equally if not even stronger, dominant energy, namely the Venus-Pluto conjunction in the sign Aquarius ruled by Uranus. The reason I consider the Venus-Pluto conjunction in the sign Aquarius to be the most significant feature of the new moon horoscope is its extraordinarily strong and transformative power, as well as its all-or-nothing attitude. Venus feels committed in the collective sign Aquarius to its own spiritual and cosmopolitan values, and not to the usual societal norms or traditional conventions. Venus in Aquarius represents the love of freedom, intellectual connections, and the unconventional. In relationships, friendship, independence, and intellectual attraction are particularly emphasized. This is reflected in cosmopolitan values that transcend traditional boundaries and promote humanism and equality in partnership. The focus is on the experimental and unique, often paired with a dislike for too strong emotional ties in favor of openness and shared ideals. The conjunction of Venus with Pluto represents passionate and intense relationships with an unconditional drive for depth and transformation. Uranus is in the sign of Taurus, symbolizing revolutionary changes regarding values, finances, and the position of women in society. The quality of the time indicates intense emotional and financial upheavals that challenge traditional values and can lead to very sudden breakthroughs. The shifts in previously fundamental positions can lead to power struggles in love and money. In a positive sense, this energy provides a tremendous inner drive for self-empowerment and emancipation. In the collective context, this can create new projects that are independent of the old political structures, aligning with the humanistic ideals of the sign Aquarius.